Hello and welcome to Paul Makes Games. My name is Paul and it is the middle of week 8 of my Make a Gamer Week project, which means it is time to look back and reflect on how week 7 went. If this is the first reflection video you are watching, this video is for me to kind of look back and learn from the previous week and reflect on what went well and what could have gone better. In week 7 I made a game called Life is Short. The game is a survival tribe management game where the goal is to create a sustainable tribe which can survive through multiple generations. I'm going to start off by talking about what I felt went well with the game. One thing I was happy with, and also what people commented on, was the art of the game. I went for the same pixel art style that I did in The Last Train Home, which is week 5's game. The link is on the screen now if you want to go and play it. And I think it went well with the overall theme I wanted to go with for the game. Secondly, the game itself was a type of game I've always wanted to make. It's that mechanic of having like AI that looks after itself independently, and you're able to like craft and gather as sort of one person in a bigger system. It's a cool mechanic I wanted to experiment with, and I learned so much from a technical side while making this game. But I think the fact that I was so kind of emotionally invested in this game and those mechanics was also a detriment to the result of the game and this week. So far with this project I have managed to keep to my Friday release date deadline, which would allow me to have some time on the weekend to fix any game breaking bugs, think about new ideas for the next week, and also importantly have a life outside of making games. Week 7 was the first time that I broke this rule. This was a big game to make in a week. It had AI that lived independently, but you could give orders to it. It had a crafting system. It had characters being born and growing and dying. It had a random level generator and a world with resources that grow and you could harvest. Even before this week, if someone had come to me and said they were going to make a game like that in a week, I would have said, rightly so, that the game was too big to make in a week. Yet, I tried to do it anyway. I worked till Sunday night to get it released, and it still, in my opinion, is not a good game. It's buggy, the UI is difficult to use, there's a lot of mechanics that are unexplained, and it just isn't fun to play. Now don't get me wrong, I think it has potential to be a good game, but it needs a lot more polish, tweaking and testing to get to that point. So the big question and learning point of this week is, why did I make a game regardless of my own self-declaration that it was going to be too big to make in a week? I think it is because of the emotional investment I have in this project, and not in a good way. I was not happy with how the previous week had turned out, with being caught up with burnout and the game not turning out how I wanted it to be. I talk about this in last week's reflection video. I wanted to bounce back and prove to myself I can make something much better. I also, as I mentioned earlier, have always wanted to make a game with these kind of mechanics. It's one of those dream game ideas which pushed me to keep trying to implement all these systems regardless of the limited time and resources that I had. And lastly, I think maybe I'm getting a bit overconfident with how much I can achieve in a week, and I've lost what the ultimate point of this project is. It is to make a fun game that people want to play within these purposely created time constraints. The games do not need to be overcomplicated. In fact, in a lot of these cases, it would be better if I made simpler games that I could get working and play with and tweak and make fun. instead of what I did this week and code a bunch of features and hope that they work out in the end. All in all, I've learned a lot from this week. This game again has been more of a kind of personal reflection on my process of making games rather than the specific game mechanics or design decisions. And what I'm taking away from it for this week is to seriously look at what I can make in a week and design the game and rein back my ideas to accommodate for that. And that's what I'm doing. This week I'm making a 2D platformer game where you play as a medic in a null gravity battlefield. And so far that's going well. I was able to get a prototype where I can play the mechanics within a day, which is a lot different from last week where the game was only barely working late on Thursday. If you want to hear more about that or the project in general, you can follow me on Twitter at PaulMakesGames, and of course subscribe to this channel and watch my other videos. And with that, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.